Welcome all sports fans, YouTubers, Facebookers, all social media across the nation. Uneducated Network presents Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton, and back at it again, part 2 for week 8. I got my man Brian Wilkerson. What's up, B-Dub? How's it going once again? So if you haven't seen, we have a part 1 to this week 8. We basically went into the top 10, broke it down, 1 through 10. That's all we talked about. It's about a good 15-minute video. If you haven't seen it, please look down below, click that, check it out, and then come back to this video, part 2. So, just a quick recap.
As a refresher, Alabama number 1, Penn State number 2, Georgia number 3, TCU at number 4, Wisconsin at number 5, Ohio State at 6, Clemson at 7, Miami at number 8, Notre Dame, the newcomer, at number 9, and OU at number 10, Oklahoma.
Hey, like I said, if you haven't, part 1, check that out. But just a quick recap. We had a good talk about Notre Dame being in there and being maybe the sneak peek for that playoff. If things go their way, they could be that team that goes into the top 4. So check that out. If you're a big Notre Dame fan, check that out because there's some good things about Notre Dame in there. Outside of that, briefly, do you want to anything with the top 10?
No.
No. All right. Well, look, let's go ahead and give our week 8 recaps of each games. Let's start off with the Notre Dame versus USC. That was our Team Brian versus Team Carlos. I had USC.
3-1, baby. Notre Dame.
He had Notre Dame.
Through.
Man, look, all my faith. My 2 teams I have faith with, USC and Michigan. And you guys know how that just blew up in my face, man. I had Michigan. I can kind of blame the quarterback being hurt a little bit, but still at the same time, their offense, even with him in there,
it's not good.
It didn't look good the first week. He hurt himself week 4?
Yeah.
Week 4, something
but,
like that?
I mean, their offense didn't
look
good.
Yeah. Even with him in there,
they can't
it didn't
score.
look, yeah. So
they can't score.
I just figured, based off the schedule, I saw the schedule. I was like, man, all they need is Penn State and Ohio State. If they can win those 2 games, they're in it. And they couldn't even get past those guys.
They couldn't beat Michigan State.
They
couldn't beat in-state rival Michigan
State. Hey, man, it was raining. It was nasty. It was disgusting.
It was a good football game.
Yeah, it was a great football game, though, nonetheless. So, but with that being said, let's break that down. Notre Dame has come in and been very quiet under the radar to most people outside of South Bend.
Yeah.
And that 1-point loss to Georgia, it now seems like it did them a favor. I mean, winning the game would have been they'd have been the top 10 from the jump.
So much
but now the loss, it's not that bad anymore.
It looks good. They were able to hang in and play some nasty defense with a solid SEC defensive team, and they were able to grind it out and run. They can run the ball really well. That's kind of what surprised me more than anything. I knew they were going to be able to throw the ball around this year a little bit. I knew they were going to play some solid defense. I wasn't expecting them to play defense on this level, but I knew they were going to be able to play solid defense. Their explosive running game is what has kind of caught me off guard.
That shocked me. Yes,
it explodes off of the screen, off the line of scrimmage, and put up 49 points against USC, whose defense is they're not slouches out there. But good Lord, man.
Reason why they jump into the top 10 and now they're this breakthrough team is because not only did they lose to a really, really good Georgia team, now that we know that, by 1 point, but they demolished, what was it, the 11th ranked USC team, who hasn't been the same. It wasn't the same USC team from last year, but still with the same players. They still had Darnold in there as the quarterback, so you don't take the team lightly. I know that. They demolished them, beat up 49-14. We all saw. I didn't see that coming. I had USC winning. I thought it'd be a high-scoring game, but with USC, one of those dramatic at the end.
I thought this was going to be a much closer contest than it turned out to be.
The question I want to ask is Notre Dame that good, or is just USC just that bad? That's the question I want to ask you.
As a fan, I just want to say that USC is that bad, but that's not true. It's not true. They are a very good team, and unfortunately, they play in the Pac-12. So, that kind of just in that whole iron sharpens iron mentality, that doesn't bode very well for them. But usually, they are a very solid team this year. They're not a top 10 team this year, but they're a very solid squad. Notre Dame, on the other hand, looks like a top 4 contender. Had they not dropped that game to Georgia, they look like they give TCU a hell of a run for their money. I'd bet on it. I'd bet money on it. They could probably take TCU at any time. They could probably hang with Clemson. They could probably hang with Ohio State.
They're physical.
They are.
They're physical to the point of attack on both sides. That's what I like about Notre Dame. They're rushing, like you said. It surprised you and it shocked the hell out of me to see how good I don't know his name. I think it's number 39, I believe. The running back, I forgot his name, but he is a beast. And he's a lanky dude. He's like, I think he's like 6'1", 6'2", all legs, in my opinion. But when those legs get to turning and running, the stride is so now. Oh my God!
Just leaves people.
But they physically beat USC, and I understand it was in South Bend, and they get you a little home advantage because you're at home, obviously. But still, USC is supposed to be game ready for this. It's a big rivalry game for these two teams, and to crush USC like they did. Not only will it help them when it comes down to the committee for next week, it's gonna help them just psychologically, like
confidence.
Yeah, confidence-wise,
confidence
right? So you think Notre Dame is that good? I think Notre Dame is that good as well. I mean, we looked into that first early game, Notre Dame and Georgia, and we didn't think that both these teams. Well, you thought Georgia would be.
I thought Georgia was going to be.
I didn't think at this point the number 2 best team in the nation, in my opinion. I didn't think Georgia was that good, but going in there and them being ranked and just to lose by 1 point to now we know it's a really, 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 really good Georgia team. This looks very well for Notre Dame. My thing is the Pac-12 done? Do they have a chance to sneak someone in? Not even Washington.
No, Pac-12's out.
Pac-12's out.
The Pac-12 is out.
Pac-12's out. Yeah.
Pac-12's out.
Well,
I mean, they're no longer even in the top 10.
Right.
It would take a miracle at this point for Washington, for a one-loss Washington team to even get back into the conversation.
Not only do they have to win out, but they have to blow everybody out and then blow out their the championship game, which is most likely going to be against maybe USC again. I'm not sure, but it's showing how bad the Pac-12 is this year. So me and you both agree. I don't see a Pac-12 team getting in. So and it's so early, but it's like wow, you guys just basically eliminated yourselves by just being dumb.
Losing the worst possible.
Losing to very, very subpar team. The one that really head scratches me is Washington. After dominating easy competition the whole entire year, they go into Arizona State. And I understand it's a blackout game and it's a Pac-12 at the dark.
Score.
And you cannot score. One bit, you go from averaging 65. I'm making that up, but 65 a game. It felt like to what was it? They scored 13 points, I believe.
They scored 7 points. They scored one touchdown.
I was benefiting them. Yeah, to go into Arizona State and score 7 points, and then that's it. Like that does not look good one bit because they look bad as an offense. As the defense kept them in the game, but as an offense was horrible. So Pac-12 is out, man. So. That being said,
let's talk about that other team that you were so excited about this season that just kind of have fallen on their face. The official number 2 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions went home, white out in Happy Valley, and just made Michigan and Jim Harbaugh's defense look absolutely silly.
3 weeks ago, I'd have told you Michigan's winning this game. Ugly, physical. It's going to be one of those 16 or 14 kind of games. Last week, we both agreed Penn State is going to win this game. Penn State put it on them from basically start to finish. Barkley and Sorsley, those guys, that 1-2 combination is just nasty, man. It's we both agree Barkley's pretty much going to win the Heisman. I mean, it's got to take a catastrophic collapse for him to lose the Heisman. But with that being said, he's going to win the Heisman. He's the best player on the planet right now. I won't even talk about his NFL draft stack. I don't want to talk about that. I will say he should be top 10. But
it's up there.
It's up there. We'll get into that later. But this guy, I've never seen. Well, I've seen the Daniel Thomason. He reminds me a lot of Daniel Thomason when he played for TCU. And that's what he gives me that. And I can see that same kind of style transferring to the NFL, which is in this NFL, he is the perfect running back. Can play all 3 downs, can catch the ball, and can run between the tackles. And that is the ultimate perfect running back for today's NFL. Saquon Barkley is fantastic. He made that Michigan defense, which is pretty much for points per game wise, the overall defense.
Yards
number
per
one.
game, points per game.
Yeah, and those they made them look silly. Penn State is that good.
They are.
And to start the season off, I would have put Ohio State and I would put Michigan above Penn State. I was thinking a little fluke. They had a Godwin last year, and basically a lot of McSorley's passes, basically the last half of the season, it was jump balls. He was just throwing them 60 yards, and God was going up there and snatching it. And the other receivers, and this year, completely different. Still good. I thought they were lucky last year, but now I believe in the hype in Penn State. How do you feel about Penn State, man? Are they that much of a serious threat to Alabama and Georgia and Clemson? Dude, how you
They're-
put it
They're going to play up to competition. That's what I like about this
Right.
team. They play up to competition. So they're a number 2 squad, but they also play. They're going to play you hard. They're going to try to get you off your toes, get you a little bit off balance. They like to use the edges on the outside for running, passing, whatever.
Right.
Saquon Barkley speaks for himself. Obviously, the man can do I don't know if there's anything on a football field that you can ask him to do that he's not going to be able to do
He's
at this
incredible.
point. And their defense plays well enough to get them by. Their defense, they shut. They'll limit your offense to an extent. They're good at getting turnovers.
Right.
They're very good at getting turnovers, which complements a high, an up-tempo, high points type of offense very well, which is what they
we've been
run.
praising this offense the whole entire time, but let's not forget that this defense. I haven't seen a bad game from this defense yet. They semi-bend. They don't really. They'll never break, but they just semi-bend. That's it. And then they take advantage of the turnovers, like you said. They're a very optimistic team.
So they're starting to look like a very complete squad, which is very, very, very good for them. Just a few years removed from everything that had happened with the end of the Joe Pa's career. So.
That's crazy.
I love this squad.
Yeah,
they're one of my favorite teams to watch.
Yes,
right now.
They were starting last year. When that year ended last year, I said the two teams I'm most forward looking after was Penn State and USC. And ironically, were the two guys that faced in the Rose Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I cannot wait to see every single game for these two squads because they are loaded with the talent coming back. And one has lived up to the hype, and one has USC.
Apart.
Oh my goodness, I could just. Anyways, but Penn State is very exciting. I was waiting. I could not wait to see. Barkley was good, but he was good last year, and I saw in the last 4 or 5 games. I was like, man, that kid is good. But now we get a full season of him being on the spotlight, and you're like, okay, he is a beast.
And he's lived up to it.
He's lived up hard. So he is basically the front runner for the Heisman, like we said.
Our other 2 games from last week, both squeaking by. Let's start with Oklahoma State and Texas going into overtime. This Texas squad, man, if they could just get one break in one game anywhere.
If they could get a decent offense to match along with this incredible defense that they have, like we pointed out earlier, them and TCU are the best 2 defensive teams in the Big 12. In Big 12, you can't spell Big 12 without no defense. So So break the game down, man. Oklahoma State and Texas. You know a lot about them more than I do.
On the flip side of this, for Oklahoma State, this is probably the worst win that you could ever look at.
The worst win.
A Texas squad that's not been they've been scoring a lot of points versus bad opponents, but haven't been scoring a lot of points versus good opponents. They haven't had one of those big, 30, 40-point games against anybody. I think they maxed out at like 24 versus USC.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So they give up. So Oklahoma State's defense actually, doesn't have quite the tall order. They only give up 10 points. But on the flip side, this much vaunted Oklahoma State offense with Mason Rudolph and company. I haven't heard his name in God knows how long. But Texas managed to shut them down, hold them to only 10 points. This game finished at 10-10. It was ugly. There was not a lot of very good passing going on in this game. Texas, you can kind of give them, a little bit of leeway for that because Sam Ehlinger is a freshman. So, that's what Oklahoma State had to hang their hats on. At the end of this game, there's no reason that they should have won this game. They went into the overtime. They could go nowhere with the football. I didn't see a good pass on that possession at all. They kicked the field goal and come away with it. Texas goes out for their possession, and right off the bat, they're moving the ball 4 or 5 yards. They're able to run the ball. They look like they could, they basically did almost whatever they wanted to with Oklahoma State's defense. And Oklahoma State kind of, used that goal line as a bolster to stiffen up the defense a little bit.
Man, let's just get to the question on the 3rd and goal. What the hell?
Sam Ehlinger just makes.
What was that?
He just makes a rookie mistake.
What was
when you're
that?
So you snap the ball and you're rolling. The play is designed to come from right to left.
Right.
But he ended up having the pocket collapse a little bit, rolled out, bought him a little time. That was great. That was a fantastic play from him. He rolls out and he starts getting close to the sideline, so that ticker's starting to go off in your head as a quarterback. You don't want to be having negative yards, particularly on 3rd and goal.
Right.
The problem with this play was the route combination. There was no way for them to get a first down.
Was it miscommunication? Because my first point of view, actually seeing the highlight, I was like, oh, that was just miscommunication. But then I looked again, I was like, Nah, it wasn't miscommunication.
So,
it was more the quarterback.
Yeah. So the way that this goes is there's about a 5-yard out route on the underneath play,
Okay.
and then there was what typically would be a streak route on the other end is cut off by the end zone, so that man starts to come across the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you start getting close to that sideline and it's 3rd and goal, so you're not going to make that dump off. There's no first down available there.
Right.
That doesn't give you don't gain anything from that, and it's a dangerous throw with a couple of guys in your face and a guy trailing your man. So he looks out, and the man coming across the back of the end zone is getting close, but he's not quite there. There was some room back there, so maybe Ellinger just made a mistake and thought his guy could get back to it.
Right.
He didn't throw the ball hard enough. If you're going to throw that ball,
he lobbed it.
You have to throw it, and he kind of just didn't. He couldn't decide what he wanted to do with it, just because just lack of game experience.
Is it on the coach to let them know, hey, especially for the 3rd down, if it's not there, throw it away or just take the sack or something, because we have to get the game time field goal.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a coach, especially in the college, they're all young.
Yeah.
It's all 22 and under kids. So you want to let them know, hey.
That's definitely.
No, if A doesn't happen, go with B. If B doesn't happen, go with C.
So, as a head coach, that's some things you got to let a guy learn. But in this type of situation, it is your job as a head coach to tell your quarterback in his ear, look, if the throw is not there, you launch this ball as far up into the stands as you can throw. Just let it go. Nobody on the defense comes down with this ball. That is you can't allow that to happen.
You can kind of tell no one was in his ear saying that, because if someone tells you that, it's in the back of your mind somewhere that, okay, if things do go array real quick, let me just either chunk it or take the sack. He threw a Brett Favre kind of just kind of blooped it in.
Self-pass.
And that tells you the story of Texas basically the season pretty much. Oh, so close, but then something crazy happens. But I do give Texas credit where credit is due, man. Their game. And they have come up to they play to their competition based on what's going on. And the bigger the team, the bigger the stage, they're coming up there and at least playing it close. 13-10, I'd have told you that's a first quarter score.
Yeah,
but 13-10, so basically it was tied at 10 going into overtime.
Yeah,
so it was basically a 10-10 game. And I would have laughed in your face like, you crazy. That's a first 6 minutes of the first quarter score. But nonetheless, Oklahoma State did win. But this win felt more like a loss.
Yeah.
They might as well go ahead and just lost the game because they dropped out of the top 10. They were 10 going in. They dropped out. Notre Dame goes in there basically and takes their spot to number 9 now. So Oklahoma State, they got a lot of digging to do. Are they a 2-loss team? Or are they a 1-loss team? Is it still just 1 loss?
No, they're just the 1 loss. Just the
TCU? Okay, well, they got some scratching and clawing to do, man, because another loss and they're done. The Big 12, before we get going again, outside of TCU, does anybody else have a chance in the Big 12?
No.
Not even Oklahoma?
No, not even Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma, how many losses they have?
Iowa State.
It's Iowa State, huh?
No, it's just Iowa State, yeah.
It's Iowa State.
They're 1 loss as well.
Okay, there's 1 loss. All right. Correct us if I'm wrong. It might be 2 losses, but I think it's 1 loss as well. But they got a lot of scratching and clawing to do as well, man. So sitting pretty at number 10. That's not where you want to be at when the polls come out for the first the first playoff.
First committee.
Yeah, the first
playoff
committee.
rankings.
And they're looking at all that, man. So Oklahoma State, that felt like a loss. They're basically out of it, in my opinion. And then the last marquee game that we had of Week 8 was Miami, the Hurricanes. They are undefeated still with a 27-19 victory over Syracuse. A game Syracuse team, I might add, the same Syracuse team that beat Clemson. Yes, without Kelly Bryant in the second half, but even when Kelly Bryant was in there, they were still winning. So you can kind of make that excuse, and it's a good excuse because Kelly Bryant, when healthy, is
this
one of the
game
better
also held
quarterbacks.
one of my favorite plays just ever in college football because it's something you never ever see.
Oh, you talking about the Bruce Lee
interception? So the quarterback throws an interception.
Right.
And then the guy's returning the ball, and he comes back down and makes the strip to get a fumble on his own interception and recovers the football.
Right, yeah.
Because you don't ever see a quarterback play that hard after an interception. I love it. It was great.
I don't know. Do you know the quarterback's name for Syracuse?
I do not recall.
He has tremendous buzz going on. 1, the victory over Clemson. 2, just in this game, outside of that strip he got to recover his own mistake. He has some highlights. He likes to jump over people. and if you if you don't duck, he's gonna knee you in the helmet. Right? He did a Bruce Lee knee kick kind of thing, and I was like, oh my God, this one. The first one he jumped completely over the guy, so I guess the other guy was like, "That ain't gonna happen to me. Not gonna happen to me." Well, yeah, it didn't happen to you, but you got Sports in the top 10 because the man straight just. He let him Bruce Lee. He Bruce Lee him. He jumped over me, tried to hit him, and just like, I was like, oh my God. I like this quarterback for Syracuse. He's fiery, he's feisty. He's on the sideline. He's jawing with the other players. He's in the face of like D linemen.
Yeah.
And those college quarterbacks, they might not be the most skilled, but you want a guy that's fired like that, that's gonna fire the rest of your team up. And Syracuse, they believe. They believe. And so far, we've seen it against LSU, against Clemson, and against a really good Miami team. That Syracuse is not a slouch, so they could be spoilers.
They're a 500 squad that feels like they should not be a 500 squad.
Right. They will play spoilers. I don't know
they
the
played
schedule,
a tough
but
schedule too.
They have.
They have played a tough schedule.
We just said LSU. In LSU, we said Clemson. It was at home, but still ACC play. And then undefeated Miami team. Yeah. So Syracuse has been game, but this is more about Miami being still undefeated. Are they? Is it 7-0 or 8-0?
7-0 because they had that's 8-0 because they rescheduled that game earlier. So
okay,
yeah,
so this team hasn't lost a game. Right now they're sitting at number 8, and I think that's the rightful spot. Even though an 8-0 team, I still think Clemson, Ohio State.
They don't have that marquee win.
Yeah, that mark because every game they played so far has been kind of close.
Been very close.
I'm not saying that they played to competition, but they know their strengths and their weaknesses. They're not this high explosive scoring team. But they played just enough defense, and they played just enough not great competition to be exposed yet by certain teams. I don't know if they play Clemson this year, but if they do, we will definitely see how they respond to a high-octane defense and offense in Clemson, because when Clemson comes back from their bye, they're ready to go. So I feel bad for the next opponent because Clemson is probably going to destroy them. But Miami, 7-0, 8-0, whatever they are,
that is the one ACC game that I can't wait to watch.
Right.
I want to see Clemson play Miami.
Right, and I do too. Just so I can finally say, bye, Miami. Get out the top 10. I'm sorry. Look, I love Miami, and I love what they're doing, and the whole world is better when Miami is a good team. When Miami football is back, Miami Hurricanes, we just saw the Dolphins get their butts whipped. We're not talking about them right now. When the Miami Hurricanes actually look good, it's so much better for college football because now think about it. We have Penn State, came back to glory. We have a Georgia team that's, they haven't lost anything, but they finally regained their confidence. You have Ohio State. You see Oklahoma. You see Notre Dame, and now Miami. So it feels kind of like how it should be. Now we just need Nebraska.
National competition.
We need Nebraska and Eric Crouch to come back, So
some good national competition.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, finally.
So starting finally to, I love this top 10. Out of all the top 10s we have so far, I think this top 10 it fits me. I feel good about every single one. Like I said, I really felt good. They did not jump Miami over Clemson or Ohio State. So I really feel good about that, man.
Well, speaking of Ohio State, let's talk about this week's Team Brian versus Team Carlos.
Yes, let's do it.
Penn State going into the shoe to take on Ohio State. Team Brian rolling with Penn State, Saquon Barkley and company.
Team Carlos with J.T. Barrett, the 12th year senior for Ohio State. He's been there since I was like 12, man, or 13. But no, I'm going with Ohio State as well. Team Carlos for Ohio State. Team Brian's with Penn State. Make your case for Penn State, my brother.
Penn State, well, we just talked about him. Saquon Barkley, he can do it all. He can run, he can catch, he can throw, he can kick, he can probably play defense. He's going to be a huge factor. Tanner McSorley, also. This dude, Ohio State's defense is pass vulnerable. He's got a big arm, so look for a couple of big plays. I'm going with probably three 20-plus yard plays, touchdowns from Tanner McSorley in this game. Not that Ohio State's defense is particularly bad. Penn State's offense is just that good.
Right.
Not to mention, he can also throw those to Mr. Barkley out on the wing, and Barkley can make something happen. But I think he's going to have at least 2 of those 20-yard passes in the air.
Well,
and they're going to be touchdowns.
Hey, pump your brakes, my friend. Ohio State is nothing like playing for yourself and playing spoiler in the same game. It's nothing like that. One, this is an epic showdown. This is a top. Well, you might as well say top 5. Ohio State is their 6, but I think they're better than Wisconsin. But you might as well say top 5 showdown this late in the season. It feels good. One, you're playing for yourself. You win this game, you're in the top 4 automatically. Period. You win this game, Ohio State is out the top 5. Might be. It depends on. I'm pretty sure out the top 5. It's a win-win situation. You lost at home against Oklahoma. That's not going to happen again. This team is ready. They're so much better than the Oklahoma game, in my opinion. They started off shaky. They didn't know what they want to be. They didn't know that. And their defense was shaky, let's be honest. Their cornerbacks, lately, well, not lately, but the first 4 or 5 games looked shaky. They have regained their confidence back. I think last time we saw Penn State on the road was against the Iowa team, a very good Iowa team, I might add, that plays game at home. But we saw that Penn State did not just blow them out. They had to scratch and claw. The Ohio State team is much better than Iowa, way better than Iowa. I think Ohio State comes out and gets a double-digit win.
No,
a double-digit win. Give me your prediction of this game.
I actually do think it's still going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a touchdown difference between the two squads.
Gotcha.
And I think it's just going to be either Saquon Barkley is going to make that touchdown happen, or Tanner McSorley is going to find that long bomb that I'm thinking he's going to throw, and at the end of the game, and that's going to be the difference in this game.
I'm going with the score. I think Ohio State wins this 34-21. Ohio State in the shoe. They got to do it right, because Ohio State, you lose this game and you can kiss the playoffs goodbye. You can, because Penn State not only is going to be for sure legit top 3 team for the next 2 weeks with their resume now. Then it leaves you out the door losing to an Oklahoma team at home, then losing to Penn State at home. It doesn't look good for you. But so that's our predictions. Team Carlos, I got Ohio State. Team Brian's got Penn State. Let us know who you got. Hashtag Team Brian, hashtag Team Carlos, man. So let's talk more about the game. This bodes well for the Big Ten. Out of all the conferences, the Big Ten has the best chance of someone getting in. When we say someone, it's not Michigan anymore. We're talking Penn State, Ohio State. It depends on. I can still see, in my opinion, if Ohio State comes in and if they do lose this game, but it's in very, very, very close fashion, something dramatic, Ohio State still has a slight chance to get into the playoffs, depending on how they dominate the performance, and with luck, they get into the Big Ten championship. Penn State wins this, you can just guarantee them they're in. You can guarantee it. Penn State is in. Their resume, they can go ahead and lose their next game and win out, and they'll be still top 4 team. I can see it now. So this is a very big game for both teams. Big Ten is feeling real good. And it's crazy. We haven't even talked about the SEC now. We talked before we started the program. Tell the world what you told me. If Penn
State wins this game, right, Penn State is number 1. They are number 1 on the back of what they've done this season. This isn't anything against Alabama.
Right.
But they're continuing to win. They're continuing to win in dominating fashion. But they don't have the resume of Penn State going into Iowa, beating Iowa, coming home, handing Michigan probably the worst loss of the season that they've suffered so far in terms of score differential. The worst loss, obviously, I think, being at home in the rivalry game to Michigan State. But in terms of score differential, they just absolutely dismantled Michigan. And then back-to-back, going on the road into Columbus and beating Ohio State on the road. Alabama has done nothing like that this season. Penn State will be number 1.
I wouldn't be necessarily shocked, like crazy shocked. I can see it happening because the committee can sit there and say what you just said. And we know from this committee is they go what they feel. And if their gut instinct is saying that Penn State is the number 1 team, they will do that. I just say, man, Bama, you just can't. I can't stand Bama. I don't like Bama, but at the same time, winning is winning, man. If they keep winning, they had the history of winning every single game. The last, 8 years, they probably lost 12 games. In 8 years, it feels like it, man. I just say you keep on winning, keep number 1, but if Penn State does win, they have a legit argument for them being number 1. And I would not be crazy shocked. I'll be slightly shocked that they go over Alabama because we saw Alabama against we thought was a game Florida State team in the beginning, and although not demolishing them, they still had the game in hand. And so far this year, they really haven't had any test, and that's really not their problem. Now, I hope we will see them in the SEC championship, most likely against Georgia, and that will be the off. But we're talking about right now, this week coming up with the committee, and like I said, I won't be that shocked if Penn State is number one.
To finish off on your side, I don't see two Big Ten teams making the top four. That's not going to happen. If Ohio State loses this game, they're a 2-loss team, and they're not getting in. I don't see any way that they should.
Yeah, I do. I say Ohio State needs a lot of help from a lot of people.
The only conference at this point in time that I see having the potentiality to put two teams into that top four is still the SEC. Bama and Georgia. When it comes down to it, both of those teams go in the SEC championship undefeated. They're just both getting in. However, I will say this. I think it's going to be the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Independent. Somehow, by the end of this year, Notre Dame is going to climb to that number 4 spot, and we're going to leave out the ACC, the Pac-12, and the Big 12 are all going to be out of it.
If Notre Dame runs the table from here on out, I can see that happening. But, so, hold on, you said an SEC team.
Two SEC squads,
SECs, okay.
1 Big Ten squad, and then Notre Dame.
What about an undefeated Big 12 TCU?
I think they're going to lose.
Okay. That's fair. Before we go off, man, top 4, man. Basically, we're the committee now. So this is the start. Let's go. So
before we get to next week, Alabama's still number 1 from going off of Week 7 predictions. Georgia in at number 2. I am high on Penn State, don't get me wrong, but Georgia looked like the more complete squad so far for this season. So we'll put Georgia at number 3, Georgia at number 2, Penn State in at number 3 for all of the reasons that were previously stated. And until further notice, I do think they're going to lose later in the season, but until further notice, TCU is undefeated, so they're going to be my number 4 squad. Notre Dame right now is my close
right
number
down
5.
the bubble, man. I got you, man. So he's got Bama, Georgia, Penn State, and he has TCU right now. Close Notre Dame. I have my number 1 squad being Alabama. My number 2 squad is Georgia. Those 2 guys are still, I think, the top teams. Number 3, Penn State. And number 4, I still got Clemson. If Clemson wins out, they're in. Their resume, their body work, they're in. They just have to win out. If they don't, then I have Ohio State at my number 5 team in the bubble right there. Then we have like maybe TCU after that. But we both agree TCU is probably going to lose out, man. Yeah. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is part 2 of our Week 8. This is Uneducated Network, College Casual Football Talk. You know what it is, man. For Brian Wilkerson, I'm Carlos Clayton. Stay smart, stay uneducated. Peace.